All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, so this video is going to be your what do they call that? Your obligatory journey content for the day. So we got some stuff about Arnel, a little bit of Steve Perry, a little bit of Neil Sean, yeah, so it'll be great, folks. So keep watching. Before I get there, Tommy DiCarlo, Dancing in the Moonlight. Tommy, just to be honest, was one of the best replacement singers in rock history. All right. He replaced the late great Brad Delp in Boston and really did a phenomenal job. And he's still out there doing his own thing, right? Hasn't been with Boston, I think, since what, 2017, something like that. I think he's officially still a singer, as they say. I don't know if lead singer is the right term anymore, but he definitely sang lead vocals in Boston. Anyway, here's his album, Dancing in the Moonlight, and it's fantastic. People tell me, thanks for recommending that. I went and listened to it, and I felt like it was kind of like the next generation of what a certain band from the northeastern part of the United States would sound like if they put out music today. So here it is, Dancing in the Moonlight, my buddy Tommy DiCarlo, one of the nicest people, really. Seriously, just a super nice guy. All righty, now moving on to this story. Jonathan Cain says, we're very happy with Arnel Pineda. Is that a little dig at something? Well, I'll do a little interpretation. And it's my interpretation. Doesn't mean this is actually what's going on out there, but I talk to people. I know what's going on a little bit. So when I say people, I mean people pretty close to the band. Okay. I know there are people out there that say, you don't know anybody in this band. I post an interview with Dean. People go, oh, so you know Dean. So what? All right. So getting over that. So Steve King of 105.3 The Bone. Why all of the branding in radio today? It's the bone. It's the dog. It's the skull. 105.3. It just can't be whatever those call letters are. We can't just say WXTP, right? We can't say that because that's boring. So we need branding. Hey, man, are you listening to The Bone? Yeah, I love The Bone, man. The Bone is like, here, you want some? So I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe older people can relate to it. Are you listening to The Bone? Yeah. Do your bones hurt? Yeah. I'm barely able to get up these stairs. I don't know why they call their radio station The Bone. It's just painful to think about my bones these days. So, sorry. This is what my brain does. So Journey keyboardist Jonathan Cain was being interviewed. I couldn't even get past the radio station name. That's how bad I am. So Steve King, who's not Stephen King, which is good because an interview between Jonathan Cain and Stephen King would be kind of a battle of worldviews, right? Christianity against the occult. Jonathan Cain spoke about the band's current working relationship with its longtime vocalist, Arnel Pineda. So Pineda ends up being the topic of the interview. Although Steve King was very impressed with Jonathan Cain's solo Christian worship music. And I'm wondering if The Bone plays anything from those albums. I mean, it's just, of course not, right? Christian radio didn't even play anything off the Cain albums, even though I think some of the stuff was probably worthy of Christian radio. But there's ageism pretty much in every format, and they're not going to play some old dude from Journey on their radio station. They should, but they're not going to. So anyway, they're talking about Arnel and how he got his start and how he was discovered in the Philippines and how Neil Sean discovered him on YouTube. But Cain says, yeah, Arnel's great. He's been celebrating now 16 years with the band. He says it's probably the longest tenure of any lead singer for the band. And Jonathan Cain is correct. He's been crushing it for us. He's got his kids on the road with him this time, and he seems really content and happy. And we're very proud of everything he's done up to this point. Does that spell trouble down the road? Nope. Cain says, and we see some years left. There's definitely still some gas in the tank. We're very happy with Arnel. He's amazing. So what's wrong with that, Dave? I don't see any controversy there. Well, it's not that there's any controversy at all here, but there's always a battle of narratives and a battle for publicity and the news cycle and tweets. And, Forbes magazine comes out and says, "Don't Stop Believing's the greatest song in history." And Steve Perry runs to the keyboard and says, "Thanks, Mom and Dad." And Neil Sean, he comes back and says, "Whoa, wait. God bless you, Steve." That was the way Neil Sean did that. That was so much like the Southern thing where people go, bless your heart. Bless your heart, Steve. And then he said, thanks, Steve. God bless. But, we're keeping the mothership alive out here. Me and John and Arnel, right? So this, I think, is a little shot across the bow, not of necessarily Steve Perry personally, but just like, okay, kind of let's recalibrate what's currently happening right now, right? So we're the band out there playing Don't Stop Believin'. Neil has asserted on a few occasions that he, Steve, and John wrote the song, and Neil had a very important role, as did John, who wrote a whole book about how his dad gave him that key phrase, "Don't stop believing." And so, so there's a little battle there, like who gets the credit, how much credit. But hey, we also have this singer who's been with the band now for 16 years, who doesn't just get up and quit. Sorry. I'm just throwing it out there because it happened on 2 different occasions. Arnel has been very loyal. He's been a very hard worker for this band, and he deserves credit. And so this interview, I think, is designed to kind of refocus some attention on Arnel Pineda. All right. So that's my take on this. It's not a, whatever I'm trying to think of here. It's not a deep, insightful video. It's just that I've noticed that when Journey comes out and does something, oftentimes Steve Perry has something to say, and something happens, and then Steve Perry weighs in like he's the final authority on whatever that is. And then the other guys come forward and they say something. So this is going to go on, pretty much until everybody just quits, right? Or is no longer here on planet Earth. And according to Cain, there's some gas in the tank here. So these guys are going to ride that rocket right till the end. And, maybe they'll become avatars at the very end. Who knows? It'll be like Kiss. I'm sure everybody's looking into it because you can retire, then just have the avatars going on. Imagine if Steve Perry teamed up with these guys and designed like the original Journey, like the Escape lineup of Journey, or maybe they go back further. I don't know. And they do a show where this could be the future, folks. And in fact, it looks like it's the future. And for old dudes like me, it's not my thing. I don't want to see avatars. I want to see musicians playing real music. Hence, my buddy Tommy DiCarlo, who's out there on the road all the time. And he just kills it out there. He's really singing. It's not AI. It's really Tommy DiCarlo. He tells me how hard it is to hit all of these Brad Delp notes. Brad Delp made it almost impossible to, try to compete with that. But Tommy does a great job, as does Arnel, right? With Journey. Arnel does a great job. He's not Steve Perry. Nobody is Steve Perry. So we just, we cope. That's what we do. We don't complain. We cope. Maybe we complain a little bit internally because we know, it's hard to recapture the magic that was all of these great bands in their heyday. It just go back and watch and listen, and you might even start to cry because you're going to be like, wow, these guys were really good, and we're never going to see stuff like this again. So should just be thankful that the Journey stuff is still out there and the band is still going, and people apparently like Don't Stop Believing. Um, it's maybe a little bit too much. I wish somehow another song by Journey would catch on, just to take the focus, and maybe, you could every 10 years or so, you could have a new song that becomes like the dominant song. And people all flock to that song. And when they get tired of that, then another song comes in and replaces that. That's why, variety is a good thing. And it would be nice just to, you get to know the band's catalog maybe a little bit more. Whereas I thought that's what would happen once all of the dust settled, that people would go back and go, hey, have you ever heard the song People and Places by Journey, for instance? Have you ever heard that song? Anybody? Bueller? Anyone out there? Go listen to People and Places by Journey. I want that song to be in like a Stranger Things episode, right? And don't remix it or anything. You don't have to. Just play the dang song the way it is. Put it on the radio and freak people out. One of the greatest songs Journey ever wrote, performed, whatever. And a lot of people don't even know about it. So check out People and Places. In the meantime, God bless everyone. Please pray for peace in the Middle East. That's all I'm saying. Peace. I'm not taking a side. I'm just saying pray for peace, because peace is far better than war. God wants peace. Jesus is known as the Prince of Peace. I think we should really kind of, follow what the Bible says rather than what we think should happen. So there you have it, people. See you soon.